everybody. Welcome to this edition of Stream On. I'm Jim Williams, your host, and welcome to the summer. As we get into those summer months, everybody's kind of kicking back, relaxing, wanting to binge programming. I cannot tell you how excited I am because we're going to talk about PBS. Now, PBS has the Passport program, and many of you know it. Myself, I've got, as I said before in past podcasts, I've got 2 subscriptions to the Passport, one for the Washington, D.C. station, WETA, and one for the Maryland Public Television, MPTV. And it is an absolute veritable treasure trove for bingers, folks. There's all kinds of great stuff. So if you don't know about Passport, you've come to the right place. We are about to tell you everything you need to know about Passport. And if you already are a Passport supporter, like myself, well, then you're going to find out about a ton of fun things that are coming this summer and into the early fall. Why? Because we have Eric Freeland. Eric is the PBS Senior Director of Multi-Platform Content and Video Strategy. And Eric, we welcome you to Stream On. And, sir, if you would be so kind, please explain to those out there who do not know everything they need to know about your outstanding Passport program.
Sure. So PBS Passport, it's a membership benefit, and it's for donors to PBS stations, like you mentioned, your support of MPT in Maryland and WETA in Washington. It's really part of our PBS's multi-platform approach to programming beyond what we offer on television. We stream our programs on our website and on the PBS video app for iOS, Android, Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire. And as we know, there's a growing base of cord cutters out there. We're releasing our programs for streaming at the time of broadcast. And it's no surprise that our audience is a different audience on our streaming platforms than on television. In fact, they're about 20 years younger. So with PBS Passport, the success of it, we're reaching a younger audience and developing a new membership base for our station donors, and at the same time bringing in new revenue to our stations as well.
The other part, for me anyway, is, it's got that on-demand element, but it also gives me an opportunity to leaf back through the catalogs through the years and catch up on some episodes I may not have seen or re-see some of the stuff I've already seen.
Yeah, so we're offering thousands of hours of programming across all of our streaming channels. With PBS Passport, station members can binge watch select new programs starting at the time of the premiere. They get early access to shows as well, and they actually get extended access to shows after their initial streaming window closes. So we're really kind of extending the life of our programs in PBS Passport for viewers as well. So you're able to go back and kind of rediscover, old drama series or, documentaries that aired on PBS maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago.
Also, one of the things I think is important to note is that depending upon your local channel, wherever you are around the United States listening to us, or if you're overseas, you get local programming and specifically local programs that you may not have, had an opportunity to see or missed it somehow. And now you're getting to catch up. So you can really not only support PBS on a national basis, you absolutely do a wonderful job of catching up on some local shows. I've seen them on both MPTV and on the WETA app. So you've got local programs you can watch.
Yeah, so PBS, we're not like other television networks. We're made up of about 300 plus local nonprofit television stations, supported by local viewers and donors. Many people, you can think about PBS like Major League Baseball. PBS might be the governing organization, but the stations are like individual teams. And each fan or viewer may have their local favorite. So whether you're in Washington or Maryland or in Chicago or Austin, we've built out a system where users can localize to their preferred channel and stream both shows, national shows like Masterpiece, Nova, Nature, and local shows like Check Please or Texas Gardener or Chicago Tonight.
And, the other part to me that I think is fun is you've got a great deal of video clips and things that you wouldn't find, that wouldn't play, I should say, probably a better way of putting it, on the PBS stations, because they're short vignettes of, anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes that give you a real good feeling of what's going on behind the scenes of, say, Grantchester, or you guys have done, your PR department's done an outstanding job of interviewing these folks, and giving some viewer questions. So you get a back, stage behind the, pull the curtain back a look at some of these shows and some of the actors and actresses that you've come to enjoy over the years on the programming.
Yeah, I think through our overall video strategy, it's kind of thinking about the life cycle of a program and really thinking about, getting viewers excited to watch a show and things, whether it's previews, behind the scenes, actors, actresses, interviews with the talent, just kind of to really give that behind the scenes look, get people interested in our program, in the program, and then kind of lead them on this path to then, watch it and engage with it.
So this past week, you launched season 6 of Endeavor, one of my favorites, and we see young Inspector Morse on the prowl in the late 60s as the time moves into the wild 70s.
Yeah, so with Inspector Morse and Endeavor season 6, launched that just this past week, along with other shows, another show as well, Jamestown season 3, which is really from the makers of Downton Abbey, and it's giving it kind of a look at life in the 17th century in Jamestown, Virginia, following 3 women as they wrestle with the challenges during those days. So, as we're kind of releasing these programs and having them available for binging, we're making that a benefit of having the Passport membership.
And it's a big one because you've got, those are very bingeable shows. I mean, you definitely, you don't want to wait. I found myself, this is one of the things that streaming has done to me, and that is I'll watch one, and you know what? I'll say, I think I could watch another one. And by 3 times later, I'm half asleep. It's like, what have I done? I've binged myself into 4 shows. But the beauty is that you have that flexibility, and I think that's something that on demand and frankly, cord cutting has helped.
Yeah, I think, as what we're trying to do is adapt our overall strategy to kind of meet those consumer demands.
Right.
Consumers are so used to watching Netflix and series on Netflix, one right after another. Yeah, I can do one more, just one more.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of our shows have that potential as well. So, that's, what we're trying to do as part of the strategy to get them out there, to get the users and viewers watching them. Doesn't matter if it's on television or on their streaming device.
It's funny. I know that, as I said, I gave these as gifts, and I have a couple of nieces who fall right into your 20-somethings that are now subscribers that are getting back to me about shows that they said, have you seen this? Have you watched Endeavor? I'm like, yes, I have. And, or Call the Midwife or other programs that you have on, Frankie Drake Mysteries, that they really enjoy, but they've never seen them. And they didn't even know they were on PBS. So now you are not only educating people to what PBS has in the way of content, but you're also cultivating the next generation of PBS supporters.
Yeah, I think even early on, just kind of knowing that our audience on our streaming platforms is younger than our traditional television viewer, about by 20 years.
Right.
And just hearing back from our stations as they are engaging with these new viewers and as they are becoming members, it's, really exciting for us to see that. Yeah,
I mean, as much as I love the tote bags, I really think that the Passport situation is, and by the way, I still get a tote bag anyway. I think this is really a tangible gift that I believe really does help fuel PBS and and all the programming that you guys are putting together out there.
We've seen it since it launched almost 4 years ago. It's really been a game changer in the way we approach kind of digital fundraising and membership engagement.
Stream On will continue after these words.
Life is about making decisions. At BMW i, we decided it was time to reinvent the car from the ground up, making sure we were open for truly innovative ideas. We decided that the car we wanted must be electric, and it should be made of extremely light and super strong carbon fiber. And finally, we decided to make it more intelligent and added our promise of incomparable driving pleasure. We made all these decisions to offer you a choice. The all-electric BMW i3.
Welcome back to Stream On. Eric, let's talk a little bit about some things that you guys have put out in the press this week, and it has to do with, we were talking about binging. Let's talk a little bit about the programming coming. We already talked about, obviously, Jamestown and Endeavor, but there's much, much more coming in the not-too-distant future here in the summer and moving into the fall.
Sure. So coming up later this summer in July, we'll be releasing season 4 of Grantchester. We'll have 5 episodes available for binging starting on July 14th. That's a series coming from Masterpiece. And then also another show from Masterpiece. It's actually a continuation of the theatrical release of the film The Chaperone, which stars Elizabeth McGovern. So that's coming out on PBS Passport on August 10th, ahead of its television premiere in November. It's currently slated for. As well as you mentioned Frankie Drake before, season 2 of the Canadian Detective series, starting on August 12th. And then we have Downton Abbey. I think there's a lot of excitement over the Downton Abbey film that's going to premiere in theaters this September. All 6 seasons of Downton Abbey is streaming on PBS, on the PBS app. So we really want to get users and our viewers excited to see the film and catch up on everything that they missed over the last 6 seasons of that landmark television series.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those shows that I think a lot of people are going to want to binge back so that they can bring themselves up to speed so that whenever the movie hits, they'll be ready to go. So that's always fun. Eric, there's another part to this that I think is important to note, is that with Frankie Drake and some of the others, you're sprinkling in some programming from Canada and from around the world that they don't come in under the Masterpiece banner, but they are still certainly worthy of entertainment.
Yes, I think as we're kind of looking for shows to engage our audiences, there's obviously the core set of programs that are part of our television lineup. You know, the Masterpiece franchise is highly successful. We know that the audience for Passport, again, craves to have more. They also aren't necessarily always looking for the same thing that they might see on television. So by offering shows like Frankie Drake and Jamestown, we're kind of satiating that kind of viewer need.
It's funny. We have a lot of the folks who follow us are big fans of not just the BBC type British programming that we see on Masterpiece, which of course is quality television, but the outstanding work is done like Frankie Drake. Frankie Drake comes out of the same shop that brings people Murdoch Mysteries, and there's a ton of outstanding Australian programming, which we showcase through Acorn and other outlets, and the more you have of that kind of programming, which you guys at PBS have always been famous for, I really think that it shows people here in the United States that, folks obviously they knew the pedigree of the BBC and what goes on there, but I don't think they, realize that both Canada and Australia put out some pretty awesome programming as well.
Yeah, I think as, we're working here at PBS, our kind of programming team, as we're looking at things that are coming from all over the world and trying to make that determination on where should we broadcast it? Should we make it available for distribution? Mm-hmm. I think we're really open to the idea of finding those new kind of breakout series. We can think back to series like Downton Abbey or even Victoria. Mm-hmm. Probably when they first premiered, we weren't quite sure how successful they would be. So I think mm-hmm. the ability to kind of scavenge the earth to find some new opportunities, and we're really fortunate to have that with something like Passport, which can allow us to reach new viewers with this programming, and then determine, hey, is it fit for broadcast at a later time? I would say a show like Jamestown actually began as a direct to PBS Passport mm-hmm. program, right. And then mm-hmm. it went to broadcast.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you a quick question with regard to Passport. If Passport is available in the United States, is it available outside the United States to someone who is an expat who happens to be, in another country?
It's something that we're definitely working through. If there mm-hmm. is someone who's working on, let's say, a military base right. that has a U.S. IP address, they're able to mm-hmm. do it, but Passport's a U.S. only service at this time.
Eric, I know you're excited about what's coming this fall, and why don't you fill us in a little bit on what you can. I know you can't tell us everything, but give us a little idea what's coming up this fall.
Sure. For the fall, we're going to kick things off with a new film from Ken Burns. Mm-hmm. It's country music. Station members with PBS Passport can stream the entire 16-hour film. It's 8 episodes, starting on the night of its television premiere on September 15th. On television, the film will broadcast over a 2-week period. Station members with PBS Passport can view it all on their own schedule. If you don't know, country music explores the history of the unique American art form of country music from its roots. And yeah, that's all I have.
Special thanks to our guest, Eric Freeland, PBS Senior Director of Multi-Platform Content and Video Strategy, the man who knows all about Passport. All the information about Eric and, of course, the Passport program is in our show box below. We'll be back with more of Stream On right after this.
Life is about making decisions. At BMW i, we decided it was time to reinvent the car from the ground up, making sure we were open for truly innovative ideas. We decided that the car we wanted must be electric, and it should be made of extremely light and super strong carbon fiber. And finally, we decided to make it more intelligent and added our promise of incomparable driving pleasure. We made all these decisions to offer you a choice. The all-electric BMW i3.
Welcome back, everybody. Now, if you're not one of the over 50,000 people worldwide who've taken the time to download and subscribe to our podcast, first of all, shame on you. Second of all, we make it simple. It is free. You can find us at the Apple Podcast Store. You can find us at Google Play, where we're part of the Google Podcast Store. You can find us at Spreaker, Stitcher, Spotify, as well as TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and, of course, YouTube. Now, that's just to name a few. If you can't find us, pull out the old Google machine, type in Stream On with Jim Williams, hit the favorite button or the subscribe button, and each week you get a brand new edition of the podcast sent directly to your phone or to your tablet or to both, okay? Please do that for us today. We would be greatly appreciative. Now, if you happen to have an assistant device like Alexa, Google, or any of the Apple products, which of course answer to Siri, simply say Siri or Alexa or Google, please play the latest edition of Stream On with Jim Williams, and they will be happy to do it. Okay? All right. Thank you very much. Speaking of thanks to our special guest today, Eric Freeland, PBS's Senior Director of Multi-Platform Content and Video Strategy. They've got an outstanding amount of wonderful content headed for the Passport program. Eric explained everything about it to you. All of the information on Passport and on PBS is in our show box below. Please be sure to check it out. Coming next week, we will be talking to the gang at Showtime. They've got a ton of fun stuff coming over the summer, and we're looking forward to talking to them. So Showtime next week right here on Stream On with Jim Williams. I'd like to thank you guys for joining us. Welcome to summer, everybody. Have a wonderful and safe weekend. We will see you next time right here on Stream On with Jim Williams as we talk to the folks from Showtime. Until then, be well and have a wonderful week.